He asks for it. Leave the capital. The complete unabridged version, take two. Dismissed from its pedant republics at last. Convulsing and doubled clumsily thrust between buses, a girl going aisle, aisle, the throat unburdens itself of arrows, all of its wrecked formidables, her moon stompers oi inverted, pours out of herself, I hear the way her pleasures tear in pubs, those ashtray mafias, ashtray tryhards running a numb hand up her slick no-brainer on Wanka's wharf, and a scant tree held in the misfire of an eye. To be all muscle and no memory, the Thames a degraded membrane, sick neurotic twitch. In pubs, they will open her body, a versatile blade, their dictionary of cigarettes, the aptly translated lie. Clever boys, flawless, disaffected pause that passes for lotus cheaters, compress ourselves into a 5-point plan for progress to preside over and haunt this ballad of cladding and scaffold, our tender silos burning, breathe in the jinxed blueprint of it, crossing the urn and its amours, Grenfell, Greenfield, missold, in syllable on tissues that sky missold, dismissed and turning, little grief of methods and permissions, all roads lead to circle and spill the quotidian acute, and no roads shall abide its winding, the limit and eclipse of money. Will be anchored and then discarded to break, if not free, then thorough over the Medway, the blue brown stretcher of small resentments, a golden rusk of light skimmed, succumbing, dream of an elsewhere we call Berlin, moonwalk the mouth through its thin obituary Deutsch, pretend to a summer of priory walls, necrotic couch surf, the carnivorous species of great unwatched. Alone there with all his sovereign insomnias and the sun expectant brute banging his tin drum waiting for us to falling. Spectacle of last resort, radio archive of grating feudal melodies, want to be neutralized in suits to the tune of an airless old baby and celebrate dead versions. He wouldn't be the first averted eye to enter the big world and crack. Says go if you're going, sulky wastrel face palm. London is paradise with a slow puncture, and that's on a good day. Stagnant apprehensions, burials, peak liberal dog shit, thwart gob stinking with public apology, or the hot pink mess of cynical allyship. Those bastions of homicidal price gouge, their staple of rainbow tawdries, and wow, look at us, heat seeking and sealed against empathy, was feebly monstered, laughed up as nullified guts, going, which side are you on? Eyes like sterilized zygotes, eyes like dash cams, lidless ticketed eyes. Fucker, why so in love with this syndrome of sides, like error into anvil, like a face vaguely razored, like munitions, components, oracles, have anything to do with the pained, miraculous expansion of being in the body, or what you mean by nature, depredations, rotting modalities dismissed. This is not a country, but an industry, shining and shouting. The brain is a hutch, the brain is a kennel. There is nothing to love here but things, she says. With my rage, I could bend girders of bone. A golden ticket taped over the mouth, battle him hemispheres. This is where it hurts in a city, furtive and permanent, inflamed but depleted. Lie on your side in a high-ceilinged room, tidally miscarried. Hell has many mouths. To survive entails a mutation. And is it any wonder, working your gorge like a pro, aberration unceasing, buildings rise like ultimatums, a textbook of trick questions, accountants, disclaimers, is it any wonder your future, that important blue you wipe yourself on, synthetic death, backhanders, switcheroos, put your finger on the problem, poem, extravagantly roding slut. If this is what we made with words, are we sure? If this is what we made with words, are we sure this is a country? If this is what we made with words, are we sure that it is the country we want to escape and not language itself? Like you were a dirty old man, Ukraine, and you built a dirty house, like trying to make thoughts from the core, the corona, extracellular aggregates, placky snarl around the stem of speech. We'll go from city to city, establish our Achilles future with serene effect. Oh, horrors, plotline of pigs, preface of weeds, chorus of dead, ethereal twinks, row upon row of mad capacitated crowns, royal babies, this basket of corrosives down in one, the capital. Its toxicity is meager but extreme, a bad look that travels as both particle and wave. Backwards, lacking, looked into, cancelled. There's that word again, the stink of endowment all over it. God. I tell her I blame the cashless society, how it tricks people into believing that culture and not economics is the basis for political reality by making money invisible. All this dicking around on the surface, she says, what structural level? And maybe she has a point. We keep telling ourselves we live under patriarchy, but maybe it's worse than that. If patriarchy is the organized expression of misogyny, then misogyny is patriarchy's opportunistic, endlessly adaptable mutant fucking spider baby. Don't you understand anything? Patriarchy is a constipated dinosaur. It consolidates power into one big lumbering egg-bound legal monolith. Misogyny has embraced and absorbed our tactics, our language. Misogyny looks like us. That sounds a little, for fuck's sake, it's not us, that's my point, any more than fucking NAMBLA had nothing to do with queer advocacy in the 70s and 80s, you get me? I'm trying to say, fuck identitarianism and love each other, otherwise, it's all just a little bit of history repeating. And it's all just a little bit of history repeating. Sinead O'Connor says, fight the real enemy, ripping up a picture of Ayn Rand, and says, fight the real enemy, tearing a wish you were here to shreds, says, fight the real enemy, this country is the enemy, this city that holds us with violence and without passion and the same logics as always, degrading and rational. Ooh, says the standard apprentice of night sweats, the spine perspiring all summer through. Kids with old faces who know only how to compel the black flag nailed to us breast ball gag of broken tweets. We're crouched in the camera inside the cliche, the camera collapses us snouts. Internet of things, its coldness closes thought and a thou shalt attitude, banderoles of one support, pink-washed saps, the easily fooled, 100,000 angry faces, little coronus emojis, queer life smashed smeared across its increase over its aching Christ, this fully funded morgue, this morgue with benefits. Most certain by the day that the city hates us, wants us to hate each other, ourselves, wake up one morning as a marketable tribe who sold the kids at the conference the books they burnt. Choices for children, grab everything now. By meaningless degrees, let's run away. A line of peeled suitors weep at our departure. Pain can pass through a fingerprint, dismissed all the quartets of recovery, singing their point-blank soprano out and into the fens. No dust but distance. Speak about London in hushed tones, holding their wealth in a frozen sling. Want to live lightly, grow things, this diary of marrows. Must get for us pains as a steel-toed, don't fast-acting lament, unfriended, moored to this screen, this field. Who have we ever really loved, us radicals, that recollected lunatics and slapstick conspirator twice as doomed as ourselves, friend with his folk song about the unclean parts of the animal? What did we set on fire? Lightweights of pyromania, stubbed, self-mortified pansies going over the bridge, the awkward water floating, its spittle dark cutlets of filth, that girl crying, I want to say something like, the aftermath is an ethics. Consider the other as an extension of ourselves. Those bodies inhabit their hair, their wrists, their lean electric clutch. Leave the capital. Partial suspension of property, temporary cessation of hostilities when the breath glues the body in place. And we stare, renewed. Lovely little poem, and this is called New Puritans. Mnemonic of abattoirs, your caress abridged, your carcass an abridged caress. The moon is waxing, it's what moons do, ask anyone. A new day impaled, that is, palely implied, is a dirty martini, an aura in entropy. July is a bad sleep, its capture of sashes. Stop asking me how my dog is. My dog has cancer, and cancer is a landlord. You're as good on any given as it allows you to be. On the internet, they're at it. Embezzlers of melancholy. Anything you say may be given in evidence. The Irish exhumed from my throat a woman's body is angular collaterals and reliquies of peat. I fall down in the field, wetly relenting, panning for gold, I mean trepanning, tripped and panting. The real question has to do with being in the body. Speak, then break the splayed beak sawn off. Mausoleum, lullabies bloat into cheap processional, cannot stop, can only accelerate. A fire that dislocates and contains all things. Tongue a splintered dial, twisted into place, pinned beneath what you learn about love, which is nothing. make sounds, a rosined wheel rubbing against the strings, colophony, cacophony, colophon, our endgame baroquely franked, what the hurting skin can hold of us, rise from a skirt of rotting slings, as worn at Derry Horam and Skillen and the Boyne. Is it not beautiful? Yes, but are you a Catholic atheist or a Protestant atheist? Everyone laughed at the funny joke. Fucker, us cast a spasm in your teeth before we talk here, walled up within this agony of cafes with programmist, pragmatist, proven gods. To be unseen here, where the wind both carries and covers the sound of your approach, and the rushes encircle you, bracelets of dead hair. Goodbye tricolour and anything hid behind holy. Yellow teeth flanking the flatterer's tongue, greasy colonels, spent legionnaires, hoist on their own khaki. Meanwhile, these tepid sinisters carolling encouragement on us fall through the floor in his voice. There's a rip in the city in the mildewed chiffon of a syntax. Someone is coming to cut the instructed shine from us. Yes, but torn and loaded, they smear you in their sermonizing. Cut. And the Clint Eastwood film, The Outlaw Josie Wales, 1976, set during the American Civil War, there's a scene where the ferryman explains that in order to do business, you have to be able to sing the battle hymn of the Republic and Dixie with equal enthusiasm. I think about that a lot in the relation to the land. I can guess the fate of any ferryman who'd refused to sing either. You see, us won't be forced, these fuckers devoutly vacillating and all as cardboard counsels kept. Heads will be touched, detached, stitched, as void as crawl, coming to you on filthy, broken knees, stripped as secties, the carrot and the stick of it. Dead weight of congratulation, everybody loves you, the sequined coat of acrimony all sewn up. Mistook tasteless rainbow burnt for tapers, battalions and multitudes. You see, the tinsel round their gutless, allegorical headlock, sons of floodlit formulae, sluts of mooted dangers, staple to parade. Ask what is one to queer noir and utterly slapped upside. No gods, no monarchs, no boyfriends, the sabotaging arm bent back, no summons and escape. All the skull masks of conspiracy stunned and conjured with. Us has no name, us is no name, exceeds all names, no more your boundary, bawling the honeyed sonatas of serfdom, pastimes in good company, monologues of fascist blag, opened as temple of friendship, leapt as long bull the minotaur, with her dyke song crooning, Miss Pac-Man, where the walls come down. So there. Supposing the throat is the last thing to go. Oh, brave new world, oh, map made of struggling, oh, cunt summer, the summery contured out, engulfed. Here is a song for a sense of place. What the night grows out of, the night outgrows, the pale scrim of Europe diffusing the light. It is morning now, come find me, diligent, hysterical. Here is the face, mottled with effort. Bone said, bone swore, the heart is the hill I'll die on. What is lost but once can never be regained. Come find me, dear friend, be the drear hallelujah that stinks up my mouth. In the ditch, on the fringe, are you there? Come awake to a cry, banshee, no. Fox is going at it like a pair of haunted pistons, but still, there is something about a scream, a fearful noise, they said, that which carries no message, a void and an excess of sound. This break in the data like static, the schizophase explain of it, its techno of negative civility, see. Spoken Irish was first prohibited by law in 1367. By 1737, Irish is forbidden in the courtroom. Legal documents must not be completed in Irish, and a fine of £20 every time Irish is spoken in court in contravention of this law. The scream is what remains of language. I mean, what replaces it. Of course, our phantoms are noisy. This downpour of polarized anguish. It's not the sound of haunting, the idea of sound itself is what haunts. You do not understand the charges against you, you don't know how to ask what those charges are. What they call law, an oracle of creosote, dissectors, impulse, caprice, encircled, reconciled inside the plum of soft power. Their insignia is pivot to screw you in the dead of your underbelly, to force you onto that beach when the temperature drops, your nipples split with the cold. My bad ideas lit up like Viking funerals, dried hyacinths, social media. The swarm cauterized its sauce. Woke up, feeling desperate, thought of you sewn inside your so what, striding out into spring's exemplary quickening. Something nasty in the calendar. Something is laid in the chemical nest of the brain, a pierced cuckoo. Something, arms around me, the ashes of embrace, burnt your papers too, blue compromise of fire. If poems could replicate 1,000 showy ecstasies and sweat this cry, but they can't. Prayers to St. Jude, St. Rita, St. Anthony, caption this abandon with an X, with a row of exclamation marks breaking ground like spades. I honestly thought it was you in the night, and now it is, the queasy ache in all my statements of regret. And why have language at all when it can't? For the obedient vibration of flowers, for the horns of euphoria, suspension and escape, anything that might be made to lilt, to tear well. And we danced all night, pilling through shy heart thrashing. That was a poem too. God, something lay in the lap, something felt in the guts to bear your shit fantastically before you, the emperor's ordinary, the emperor's new normal look. I'm sorry I pretended that art solved anything, glow around the resplendent words we built to replace you. Step back. So 1,000 drooping tongues, lost the continuous spit of it, that thing of which the body tries to rid itself is made inside the body, how the head won't wrap around this math of arrows or love's defenseless overflow. Taunts crawl over my tongue, I spew their renegade murmur, some indigent oath, some savaging, some hot, gross consequence of signs, poet, the impotent pulsing, gorged, insisting, and I think, hey, noise itself is a metaphor, a figure for the unbearable bodies and the speech those bodies produce. And hey, it might be okay to fill up the gut with a heady ferment of a scream, but silence, its blossom of pious eyes, its cults of cancelled orgasm. Oh, now there's an enemy. Scream, pig thief, home of your intercession. Last one. It's a long poem. It says the ecstasy of Saint Valerie, brackets and psychosis. This is what you wanted. Well, isn't it? The conscience, cicatrized care, their sensitive dread. Feelings would be scarce, recycled, face like a freak accident, little embassies of dread, little dread ambassadors tritely spouting, they love you, but that's persuasion, suck, that's big ticket shtick, and their gale force lack of humility, their crummy stanzas of dispatch. This is what you wanted, some big Mr. Shit the sheets, shining his pate in your lap, ashen windbag, smoothed beyond migraine. You eunuchs of utopia, sing it with me. The body's gilded wishcraft, sing it. To be a hyena, you have to decide, are you an object or an attribute of fucking eternity? Come on, what do you think the soul is? Try on that dress, it fits you like a limp handshake. Ah, babes, your maximum carnival, that which defies and produces the power. Ah, kid, and in spiral derive toward collision, the women are coming, their hot breath condescends your pulse, a perverse interval wherein the devil is split in the neck with sequence, you're quivering. Stand by to await upload, stand by to await so much labored torrenting. Isn't this what you wanted? Person on the internet launched into light. A known unknown. Morning is an insult of sparrows. Will tread this minus tide is idiopathic mumbling, the monkey's paw withdrawing round its one remaining wish. This is what you wanted. Well, isn't it? And there's France, sagging in our sidelines. Picture a girl, homely and vicious, pretty as a pancake. That's you, that is. Your brother is writing the biography of a vile star and eats and unravels all things, black hole with added elbow grease. Joyous day, that's you. All oral and no tradition. And hey, there's no cash in the attic because there isn't an attic. Mad women in the loft, pennying between carpet offcuts, polyvinyl Christmas trees. So watch your working class, fuck them in their price per barrel, fuck them in their renege and their jip, to be torn down, leveled flat, turfed over, used for language, to convert sorrow through ideation's phases into cold ambition caught between the trespass and the tristic topic that is out of place. So what? To strut when you ought to scoot, dragging yourself like a son of a dog. But you fail to appreciate how you fail to thrive. Babes, you are failure inflamed. Sorry, failure in flames. No. Not like fake it till you make it, more like flaxen with felony and stare them down, those lustrous Saxons making their Anglophile whoopee More like the hiccup in our hormone, more like our strong haunt, nature amplified, deranged. Oh, how they percolate occasion, these pundits of profile, randos of a new low. Hey, you enchanted neuter, sing it with me, rub silicone into the marbled gullies, old scarred bristles with wiry hair. Here's a secret. Poet is an animal flown at half-mast, dulcet moon tonight, moon in its overstayed welcome, confessor's blue, museum blue. Poets write about the moon, don't they? Just gathering dust like some vandalized heirloom, silly bitches with clip art eyes on Twitter, prospering self-consciously. We know better. The moon is a loafing butch. She's menopausal, carries the gene for secrecy, but not for sleep. She's not on the side of those deadbeat aggressors. She hates them dead. She's one of us. Blah, blah, blah. We don't care what you think. You bankrupt apologists, you dweebs of love you when you're dead. We didn't fail. We didn't succeed. We just endured. We are not going to eat more protein nor dress for the job we wish we had. A reverse mermaid in a one-size-fits-all shroud. Somewhere between the steep fig and the stewed prune, he advances on you with lordly tolerance. Who are these parasites of fiction, of sisters, a hand to hold through all these happened ages, a hand to hold you under, a hand to hold you down? Isn't this what you wanted? Not quite a forgery, not quite a copy, a irrevocable knock off the hooky looks on you. And here they come, dewy with status, striding across this limbo of lawns like they own the fucking place. Can I click unsubscribe on your life, please? Can I hurl these mouth-breathing basics out in airlock? As it is, you accidentally reply all to the following statement. Thanks and everything, but at this stage of my career, I need a gold star for trying about as much as I need a chocolate tampon. So how about no? Hot lips. I love you for that. Woman is a nightmare, though. Is a slip mother slash blood root, blood water, trench cut, and never a pink wash decree to stick in your craw. You should understand when they talk about types, they also mean you, and the pale rocking plate of your belly and the bold dredging pan of your womb. Yes, you. Don't believe the open mouthed immaculate of them. You, the fatigued mistake that no one will suffer to stand, and gave me syllables spawned in me to dangle entreaties of bone. For the last and final time, this is what you wanted. Well, isn't it? Bright world of swelling precedent, spontaneous yet hollow flowers, the ancestral expedient, and you contain such purges, the whole deal witlessly multiplying. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Sing it with me. Don't cry. Or do. See if I care.